Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zero Hour News Break. I am Richard RJ Eskow, and this is our RJ Reads the News portion of the program. I have in front of me the Los Angeles Times and the New York Times. Now, Los Angeles Times major headline: Sinking Land and Hearts. Subheading: for the Central Valley of the Central Valley town of Stratford, where the water table has fallen 100 feet, survival isn't a given. We already talked about one town in the Central Valley where there is no water at all, where a woman went from door to door in these remote trailers and other homes as if she were Kevin Costner and the postman, going from place to place saying, "Do you have water? Do you have water?" Now we find that the actual survival of American towns is at risk in the Central Valley of California because of climate change, overuse of water, and our entirely dysfunctional relationship with this planet. The fact that climate change is taking place, the fact that it is threatening huge portions of the globe in decades to come, should be headline news every day, and yet it is not. What else is the headline for the Los Angeles Times? Seeking openings in GOP business missteps. The representative Scott Peters of San Diego has been wooing Chamber of Commerce with his positions because, it's an interesting thing. We have Republicans now who have become so ideologically hidebound and so determined, I suppose, to defeat the Democrats that they don't even support some of their own core ideas, like making the United States Chamber of Commerce happy. There have been cases where the Chamber of Commerce wants infrastructure spending because that's good for the corporations, of course, that comprise the Chamber of Commerce. But the Republicans are so loath to do anything for an Obama-led government that they are pushing and resisting them at every turn. Now, as a result, some think there is an opening for Democrats to woo big business. Now, I would argue that's not exactly what we need, is for Democrats to become even more embedded in the business community, but it tells you the lengths to which ideology and opportunity are struggling within the Republican Party. Now, state cracks down on wage theft. California's controller is seeking restitution from firms suspected of cheating workers. The fact that wage theft is at all controversial, or that it's unusual and remarkable for someone to stop employers from cheating their employees out of wages they earn, it's just fascinating to me. But, the president recently passed or issued an executive order saying that firms which engage in wage theft could no longer be federal contractors. Well, I can guarantee you that employees who stole from their employers would be promptly fired. So that seems only reasonable of the president. But it amazes me that this isn't just something that's automatically cracked down on right and left. It shows you the extent to which business has pervaded law enforcement in this country at every level. But I'm delighted that the president did what he did. I'm delighted that the California controller has done what he's done. Now, switching to the New York Times. A New York doctor back from Africa is sick with Ebola. We've all heard that story. Why, oh, why can't we just have reasonable guidelines for people returning from Ebola-stricken regions or from direct contact with Ebola patients? Why can't we skip the two settings that we only seem to have on our switch, hysteria or inactivity, and just simply take moderate and reasonable precautions? And while we're talking about deaths, why don't we talk about getting flu shots, which will save thousands and thousands of lives? The other headline story, and this was going back to the Los Angeles Times, has to do with terrorism in Canada, which is also a headline story in New York. Once again, we find that a terrorist who may be associated with Islam is a new convert with low information about the religion. That is a common phenomenon. Also a common phenomenon in the New York Times story about women in the West eager to enlist in ISIS. Studies have shown that people, in fact, who want to express their feelings of outrage violently choose religion or ideology in order to do so. So we have those stories. We have the comptroller, and we have Canada rethinking its security laws after a violent week. And we'll close with that. Canada is free to do whatever it likes, and the Prime Minister or Premier of Canada has been very free about declaring that these were acts of terrorism, which of course they were, the shootings in Canada. But I wish they would also apply that label to Christianists and militias who shoot policemen here in this country or elsewhere and call terrorism terrorism wherever it occurs. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is the Zero Hour.